Okay, so today we are going to combine like terms, distribute, and solve equations. And this will function as your video for 7.5 and 7.6. We will be taking notes, so make sure you have out your packet. Taking a look at 7.5 and 7.6, notice there is no mild and medium because everybody is probably going to need some work on this, so we're all going to work on it at the same level together. Combining like terms is something we learned in Unit 5, but now we're making it into an equation that we have to solve. And distributing is one more step on top of that. So notice we do get to play a game coming up. The more you work on your homework, the easier that game will be. All right, so please take out your packet and please open up, I think it's on page 8, where these notes will be. And the question is, what are the steps that you need to solve a multi-step equation? These are multi-step because there's more than 2 steps in these. And so with symbolic method, the very first thing you'll need to do is to simplify. In order to simplify, the first thing you do is multiply. And that means, in this case, distribute. So remember, distribute means that if I have, let me give you an example. If I have 3 times x plus 4, that's going to need to be 3 times x, or 3x, plus 12. And if there are any like terms that need to be combined, like let's say this was plus 2x, then we would also have to put those 2 terms together. And remember how we did that before was we boxed one term and then we might put a triangle or a circle around the other terms and combine anything that has the same shape. So remember, this x means that it has to go with this x. And now for an equation, we're going to set it equal to some number. So let's say in this case, we're going to have it equal to 62. So we're going to have to figure out, well, what is this x then? And so if we put 2 and 3 together, I apologize, you don't have to write this on your screen, but I just wanted to give you an example. I would have 5x plus 12 because 2 plus 3 is 5 equals 62. And then I would need to solve that equation, which is now a 2-step equation. So again, the last thing is to solve. Remember that solving includes undo, solution, and check. So those 3 things need to happen after you distribute and combine like terms. All right, so let's try an example. This first example, again, I'll just rewrite this. Distribute, combine like terms, and then solve. So in our examples from your homework for 7.5, it'll just have steps 2 and 3. But for homework 7.6, you'll have steps 1, 2, and 3. So draw the line. This is just like 7.5. Because it does not have any distributing that needs to happen. It does, however, have a 9x and a negative 7x. Please remember that sign needs to go with the number, the negative 7. Okay, and then this is plus 1, and this is a negative 5. All right, so now 9 minus 7, I like to think of it as, or 9 plus a negative 7, is 2x. I'm going to write the x's first. Then I have 1 minus 5, which is minus 4, and that equals negative 20. So I solve this using undo, solution, check. I undo the subtraction first because of SADMEG. I subtract or add first, so I'm going to add to undo. I add 4 to both sides to keep it balanced. And now, remember, I need to write 2x here because that's all that's left. So 2x equals, and then negative 20 plus 4 means that I had $20 of debt and I paid back $4, which means I still owe $16. And now I have a multiplication 1-step equation left. 2 times x So I have to divide to undo and do that to both sides. Now x equals a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. X equals negative 8. But last step, I have to plug it in. So 9, I have to go back to this original equation, and instead of x, I'm going to write in parentheses negative 8. Plus 1 minus 7 times negative 8. And here's where you get out your calculator and you don't whine because you want to get it right. 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. Plus 1 minus 7. Oh, 7 times negative. Never mind. So right here, 7 times negative 8 we could do. Okay, so again, negative 72, plus 1. And this we have to multiply as well. We multiply everything first, and then we add or subtract. So I think of this as like a negative 7 times negative 8, which is positive 56. Or you end up doing minus a negative 56, which is the same thing, and then minus 5. So now I have to put all these together, and again, you could have just entered this into a calculator. So negative 71 plus 56 minus 5. I'm going from left to right. Don't start putting other things together just because this 56 minus 5 is easy. Don't do that. Negative 71 plus 56 is, let's see, 71 minus, again, calculator would be helpful. I just want to show you, you can also do it without a calculator. Okay, so 15, So that would be negative 15 minus 5, which is negative 20, which is what we wanted right here. Yes. Okay, but I've noticed that some people write their answer as negative 20. Don't do that. Your answer is x equals negative 8. That's still your solution. Okay, so I know it seems like a lot of steps over here, but really this is just the check step. You can do it in your calculator. We got the right answer, which is great. Okay, so now to look at a problem like 7, 6. This is the distributive property. So you have to distribute, and remember that means that I'm multiplying negative 7 by 3a, and then I'm multiplying negative 7 times negative 1. So negative 7 times, and that's because of stay, change, change. Kind of hard to see though, so I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so negative 7 times 3 is negative 21a, and then negative 7 times negative 1 is plus 7. Make sure you have the plus, and that equals 91. So now I have a two-step equation. I have to do add or subtract first. I subtract 7, and I get negative 21a equals, and then 91 minus 7 is 84, if I'm correct. Great. And then divide, because that's the opposite of multiplying, by negative 21. A equals, now I got to do 84 divided by negative 21, which is negative 4. And then I plug it back in and make sure it works. Again, go to the original equation, negative 7, parentheses, 3. Instead of a, though, I'm writing negative 4. And I'm checking to see if this will work. Okay. So innermost parentheses first, I do 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 minus 1 is negative 13 times negative 7. Negative 13 times negative 7 equals negative 91. Check. So box up your solution. I got it right. A equals negative 4 is your answer. Okay, so you can try these other ones. I will have you pause the video, and then I'll just go through them rather quickly. Okay, so again, negative 5. This is being multiplied by 3 and by 10. We distribute first. So I have 4m that I recopy, and I leave that alone. Then I do negative 5 times 3m is negative 15m. And then I have negative 5 times 10, which is minus 50. Again, if you have questions, we can talk about those in class. If you at least get this video done with your notes, that will give you a great start. Okay, I have 4m and negative 15m. I have to combine like terms. So that would be negative 11m minus 50 equals 126. And then I go ahead and work with my two-step equation. Undo subtraction by adding. Do that to both sides. 176 equals negative 11m. Then divide to undo. Divide by negative 11. So m equals negative 16. And I plug that back in. Again, please use your calculator. 4 times negative 16 minus 5 times, I'm just recopying the original equation, and then I'm typing it into my calculator. And when I type that in, it equals 126. Check. So box up your final solution. That is correct. All right, last but not least, this one. I have some distributive property, and it doesn't look like it, but actually you have a negative 1 here that you also need to distribute. So make sure you do both of the distributing, or both distributive property parts. So this would be negative 3 times k, and then negative 3 times negative 8 is plus 24, and then negative 1 times k is negative k, and then negative 1 times positive 5 is negative 5. Again, you can ask questions in class if I'm going too fast, or you could rewind the video. Negative 3k minus k means that I have more negative and I owe more, so I have negative 4k. And then 24 minus 5 is 19, and it's positive, so I do plus 19. Okay, now again, I have a two-step. I undo addition with subtraction. I have 4 equal to negative 4k. And then I divide by negative 4 because the opposite of multiplication is to divide. And lastly, I have k equals negative 1. I have to check and make sure that works. So go back to the original equation. I start rewriting it. Negative 3, parenthesis. Instead of k, though, I'm going to write negative 1 in another parenthesis. Okay, minus 8, and then minus, this one's negative 1 plus 5. I can plug that all into my calculator, and I see that it equals 23. Check. Box up your final solution, so that means k has to be negative 1. This is how to combine like terms and distribute and then solve equations. Multi-step equations. The better you get at this, the better next year will be. You rock.